Everything's relevant. Episode 6. Welcome to Everything's Relevant, episode 6. We're back at full strength. Everybody's in the house. Kevin, Andy, Miguel. We're going to get this popping. So, how's everybody doing? I'm excited this week. I sent out pictures of my grandbaby, Vera.
Gorgeous.
Sharing is caring. I got other people to think about again.
Her lives matter, damn it.
Yeah, the picture is funny because she got her little fist up and it's perfect. I was trying to copy The Hangover when he had the baby in the VR with the shade on.
I think the only difference, they didn't have a mask on that day.
Yeah, that's true. Let's give it up to Vera. All right. That's just me. So, I sent out the topics. We're going to talk a little bit about free will and choice. And then we're going to get into some men's cologne because it's funny. I was talking to Ariel and
expert down there.
And they were getting into it. So
far from it.
But the reason I wanted to talk about free will and choice is because I think it's relevant to everything that we talk about. There's two movies that influenced me. The obvious one is The Matrix. I guess Reloaded when he meets the architect. And the other one is called The Adjustment Bureau. So they kind of keep them apart. And it's like, you don't really have free will. You have the appearance of it. And it's funny because you didn't ask to be born, so that wasn't a choice. And when you die, that ain't a choice. What?
But it was
what?
It was a decision made and a choice made by two people to have sex and create a life. So it came from a choice. So whether
it's not your choice,
it doesn't matter. However, it came from a choice.
Forced choice?
Mm-hmm.
Is it what is forced? Is it a choice, though? If it's forced?
No, it's not.
That's what I'm kind of trying to get at. It's not a choice. So I want to figure out, how do you feel? Do you just choose the toothpaste you use, or do you believe you have free will? You make decisions, real decisions.
I like to believe I do, but then I'm like, who am I kidding? But
why do you feel that
way? I was by default, I'm Catholic. I have a choice in that. And everybody's like, oh, you're Catholic, Catholic. And when I went to the military and I had a say so, I'm like, oh, this is an option? Well, I'm non-religious preference then. Thank you very much. And for 20 years, I was that.
You bring up a good point because your parents... Go ahead.
I don't want to be categorized under one specific religion because I don't abide by it. So who am I kidding?
So the reason you say you were Catholic is because you grew up in your parents' house.
By default, yeah, they baptized me. Rules up until you age. You want to be baptized? No, they baptized me, and
I kind of went through the same thing with my mom. She was a Jehovah's Witness. Toward the end, up until I was 18, I had to study. I lived in her house. And then once I turned 18, they told me that the dead is conscious of nothing at all. And I'm like, yo, I feel that. I can run with that. I'm trying to be a good person, but I don't feel like I have to go this path. So I made that decision. I guess that's a choice. Andy, what are you? Religiously, I guess.
I grew up Catholic. I was born into a Catholic family. And I grew up going to church. I got baptized, communion, all that good stuff. I was married in a Catholic church. My wife is Catholic.
But you don't go to church.
I go to church on the special occasions. But I look at religion in a different aspect because it's good because it teaches you how to have faith. So I look at it from a parent standpoint, not from a personal standpoint, because I want my kids to think about consequences and choices and sins and things of that nature, because it almost gives them another opportunity to make the appropriate choice, given if they're put in a certain situation. So, for example, if they go, oh, that's not the Catholic thing to do, and it steers them from a bad decision that they will make, I'm all for it.
Because of a foundation of base off of.
If it makes them if it makes them a better person because of that, yeah, that's fine. But when you sit down and you think about all the egregious things that religion, more people have died in the name of religion than they have died from natural disasters, from war and things of that nature. It's crazy. So if you sit down and you really think about it, there's too many facets and too many categories to put yourself in. But I am a person of faith. I believe in, if you do good, good comes out. Is there a God? I have no idea. I haven't really sat down and thought about it.
But for the
I know
benefit
when I
of your
was,
children, you're shoplifting the religion. Like Cooper told Tom Cruise in Jerry Maguire, since she had a child, he was using the kid kind of in the relationship, so he was shoplifting the booty.
kind of, sort of, yeah. I'm using religion so it could give a good base for my kids to make appropriate choices. Because when you talk about free will, it's really just making a choice. And when you have choices, it depends on who's around you and who is affected by that choice. Because we all can make a choice. And if we're single, we could do anything because it doesn't really affect anyone if you're not married. But since you're married, you make a choice. So if you make a choice to blast somebody's back out or some female's back out and you get caught, that's not a bad choice for you. It's a bad result for your wife, if that makes sense. But you're in that moment. You're in that moment, you make a choice.
But it sounds
Fine.
like
get
choices.
it, Andy. No matter how much you believe you got free will, you're going against something.
You're going
Or
against
somebody.
something.
Yeah, you're going against something. So it's not
like
at the end of the day
saying,
free will then. It's just
it's
you're not
like
giving a fuck
saying,
about repercussions.
of course. And it's like saying, in order for you to be happy, somebody has to be unhappy. And I truly believe that. I
Oh,
truly, honestly believe that.
really?
In order for you to be happy, someone is gonna be unhappy.
Somewhere far away.
It doesn't matter, because there goes a choice. That's your free will. So you have free will. You make a choice to go towards happiness. Someone, it's gonna affect someone, and someone is gonna be unhappy.
You don't believe we all can't be happy?
No, hell no. In this world,
Now
fuck
you have
no.
people not being happy because you are happy. As long as you have that.
Those are just
you're right.
haters.
Of
Because
course,
their
it's haters,
situation.
But
but they're
that's
still
life though.
unhappy. So you think about it, Miguel. I know what makes you happy, and in order for you to be happy, somebody's gonna be unhappy, because it's once you factor in another person or a person that you're with, a relationship is extremely difficult. You have to tend to that person's feelings. You have to make sure that person is good. So let's say you come home one day and you're tired and that person wants to do something. That makes them happy. And to be honest, your happiness isn't supposed to come from somebody else. It's supposed to come from yourself. So two people are supposed to be happy together. And when they come together, they're supposed to be happy regardless whether they're with that person or without. So when you talk about free will, that's almost like a cliche. Everybody fucking knows there's no free will.
Like freedom.
Everybody knows that.
Democracy. Free
Of
will.
course. And when you in a relationship, that's even worse. Because I'll give you an example. I have no fucking time to think about free will. Cause you know what I gotta do? Yeah, you say simmer down, but the truth is the truth. And I don't want to get emotional because we're talking about this. But the point is, as soon as you factor something else in, that shit is out the door. Because you know how they say the proof is in the pudding, or don't talk about it, be about it, all these things. But as soon as you close the door and that person that you share your life with is in the room with you, it's a whole another story. Because you could go into a decision and say, you know what, I'm gonna hold my ground today, and she's not winning the argument today. And then that shit will be 360 flip. So you could say, I have a decision and I have free will. I'm not. So, you know, that's why so many men, and I don't mean to get into the relationship part, but that's what I'm thinking about right now. And not to say that.
Well, all relationships is constant negotiation.
It is. So you can understand. It's like you don't know what your parents go through until you become a parent, and you work hard, you come home, you provide, you want to do good, you want to lead a good life for your kids, and then the stress that comes along with it. Because none of us here were born rich. We are all self-made. We're not tailor-made. We made ourselves. So meaning we went to school, we did what we had to do, we have careers, we have jobs, we take care of our families, and thank God that we provide for ourselves, especially during this COVID time. But you can understand how people say, I'll be back, I'm going out for a gallon of milk, and they never come back home.
Yeah, that's some scary shit. So,
of course it's scary. So they made the decision to bounce because it's free will, right? So what happens to that person's family?
And the
The
bastard
mother
kids.
and the kids. They're
Right, because I just think that sometimes when you make choices, choice or free will is that immediate thing, right?
Well,
So if you're in a car with a bunch of friends, your hood friends, and they want to rob somebody, and you're like, nah, let me out the car, or you stay in the car and you end up in jail, you made a choice that affected you immediately. So our choices affect us immediately, but the real long term is not real. That's where it's like kind of, la la land to us. We think it's real and we're moving towards something, but things change all the time. But your choices are immediate.
It's uncontrollable factors after you make that choice. So every choice has an action and then boom, a reaction. So you do whatever it is that you made the choice to do, and then a reaction comes or a consequence or a result, depending on what choice you make. So everything is almost like you could almost say everything is like connected, but
You
it
know how you
comes.
get around it? Look,
Yeah.
in the military, they tell you do what your rank can handle. That's my interpretation of it. If you think you got free will in here, guess
Let's
again.
see. Let's
But
see.
no.
Do it. All right, but you know how I got around that? You gotta, how you beat free will is you gotta be free spirited. When you're free spirited, people assume you don't care about the repercussions, which makes it easier for you. Now you don't have to worry about the repercussions. You got everybody else worrying about for you, and now they let you rock however.
And that's why.
They got free spirit.
And that's why
I was told recently, they're like, you're not immature, Miguel, you're not stupid. You're just free spirit. Like you look like you have no care. Kind of like what I'm saying. I leave it up to everybody else. I worry about these things, but
Yeah, I kind of been moving toward that freedom
isn't
of like, don't give a fuck.
of if you free spirit yourself, then you could have free will. Because the people now are stuck with the burden.
Kind of like you float and move about.
And then with that, they allow you to be free will. And be like, you know what, Miguel? No, go ahead. Do how you want to. Go ahead. Because they think I
That's
don't
the
give a fuck
Jedi mind trick.
of the results, but I do. But if
Yeah.
you go free spirit into it, they're gonna do all that for you and leave it up to you. Now you're truly free will.
And that's why you have
permission of the people you thought you was gonna rub the wrong way or have a result, bad or negative, whatever, and you eliminate all that. Are y'all
Jump
still
in,
with me on
Andy.
this?
Go ahead.
Y'all
no.
still
I was
with me
gonna
on this?
say,
Does this make sense though to y'all?
Yeah.
of course it makes
Or
sense.
am I like, oh, that's
No, and
okay?
that's why you have that's why you have a beautiful head of hair on top of your head.
But that's the
Because-
antithesis of the military telling him, and keep it like that for 20 years.
Told early,
Now I'm free.
Don't stress what you can't change. And I realized the most shit people stress on earth is shit they can't change.
But you don't feel there's a lot of things you can't
I
change?
don't know about that one.
Because wait, let me just interject real quick. So the reason I brought up the Matrix is because when the architect gives his speech, and I'm gonna read it, he talks about emotion. So Andy, you brought it up. You didn't want to get too emotional, but emotion plays a big factor. He's like the chain reaction, the chemical precursors of emotion designed to overwhelm logic and reason. It is the quintessential human delusion, simultaneously our greatest strength and our greatest weakness.
And what was it all boiled down to, Kev?
What?
Love.
In that case, there's a love for something.
Matrix was based on love.
Oh yeah.
Punani are getting the pickle wet.
It is everything comes back to the pickle, and that's exactly what I say. Everything.
I'm a pickle by choice.
Right.
Everything. You have Adam and Eve. He was the only man on earth. What happened? They took a rib out and they made a shorty for him, and he got his pickle wet.
He didn't matter until the snake made her eat the tree.
Some religions make you believe if you do this, you're gonna go up to wherever and have 20 virgins. It's about you mean to tell me it's about the pickle? What happens if a female does that in that religion? She's gonna have 20 pickles. It's unreal how I just had this. Look, I had this conversation. With my oldest, and I told her. I said, hate is a powerful emotion. Hate will make you kill somebody you love. But loving somebody won't make you kill them. It's weird because when you hate something, that emotion is more powerful than love. And we always live on the notion of, oh, love is the strongest emotion. Love is the strongest emotion. Love, love, love. But the truth is, if you really love that person,
it falls.
Would you
We're
have
always looking
killed
for
them?
love. We never looking for hate. We get
Would
that
you
every
have
day.
killed them? No, but you could love that person. Or let's say, for example, you walk in on your wife and you love them to death, and she's getting her back blasted out.
You got a lot of negative shit.
I'll offer her some water. Honey, you need some water?
And she's making
That's love. That's tolerance.
She's making noises you never even heard before. And you walk in on that and you like, what the fuck? So that hatred could make you kill her.
But you gotta understand, listen, love has the most potential. It conquers all eventually. Hate is an emotion that has a consequence. It's a choice.
It's a consequence too.
Love overpowers hate by 2.
And I'm gonna tell you something. Fuck potential, because
hate is a choice. You make that decision.
Yes, but when it comes to potential ain't shit if you don't go with what you need to do in order to pass that potential. We all have potential for something, but what happens?
Okay, you answer your own question. Because when you say, wait. When you say potential to do, following your potential to do, you don't follow potential in hate. You just act. Love, you're following something, hoping that it works out a certain way. But hate is just a reaction that if you could stop yourself, like don't hit send on that respond on tweet, it's like it saves you so much.
Well,
that's the thing.
Hate is
an emotion.
It's of course, and love is an emotion too.
But it's not an emotion that drives you to react like crazy. Well, on the female side.
Say that again.
If you get that's sex. That's when your nose is turned up. That's different.
It's bullshit, Kev. Because you want to believe. It's just like if you know your wife is cheating on. I don't know why I'm talking about this. It's just like you know deep down inside that your wife is doing something. But you want to believe her so bad. It's the same thing with love. You want to believe that shit so bad.
That's the difference.
But wait a second. Okay.
Everybody denounces love, but everybody believes hate, whether it's true or not.
But wait a second. Again,
you got propaganda and come with a commercial to try to make people believe in love.
Andy, I know you say you don't watch the internet and you don't watch. Wait, hold on, Miguel. You say you don't watch the internet, you don't watch the news. So you haven't heard about what happened with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett?
I heard that somebody was blasting her back out and
during their dark period, and that they stood together and they make this joke about bad boys, bad marriage for life. Huh?
It's on. Okay, now.
But Will has to stand there and take it. Because she lives.
Taking it. You know how many females he done blasted? All right, look.
We don't know.
Look.
You can speculate.
First of all, you're talking about 2 rich people who are in a marriage, and you don't know. We only know what they want people to see. So I don't believe nothing.
That's with everyone.
That's bullshit. Because you don't know what kind of arrangement they have, especially when it comes to business. Because I'll give you an example. I'm not going to name no names, but we have a friend. Well, you guys know of him, but no names. He called his wife. She was getting blasted out. He was the dude was exploding all in her mouth. He recorded it. He found it on the phone. He didn't leave her. You want to know why he didn't leave her? Because he had 2 houses with her. She was on the deed of both houses, and she made more than him. And if he left, he was gonna lose more. And he has 2 kids with her. So you know what he did? He said it's cheaper to keep her, and I'm staying with her. Fuck it. And we don't know what Will and Jada are going through.
And we won't know how long that'll last. You know, the 2 kids will grow up. The whole point of having 2 houses is at some point. Listen, You get one, I get the other, blah, blah, blah. Let's keep
That's
it
why I
moving.
believe
But
in
right
family.
now,
Stop
their
the
immediate
bullshit.
choice,
Stop the bullshit, because you know it's not that easy.
it's not that easy.
All right, you out of all of
But
us, out of
I
us three here,
have 2 houses.
you know it's not that easy.
I don't know how old his kids are. So there's a reason. There's stages.
You gotta find me at the right time, baby.
What?
Of course.
You
What?
gotta find me at the right time.
Look,
Scarface said that. You gotta find them. You gotta catch them in between. I'm
of
telling you,
course.
that movie is powerful. It meant
Of
a
course.
lot of shit. When
And
she
let
was
me-
coming down the elevator, and she's always probably her nose, or she's always late. And he's
Look,
like, you gotta
look
catch her in between.
I'll give you an example. All these famous people, all these rich people, these celebrities, when they leave their significant other that they were married to before they got rich and famous, do they leave them for an uglier person or for a more established person that has
More
money?
established.
More, always, okay? Kevin Hart did
It's
this
never
shit
for
to
a
his
cheerleader.
ex.
It's never for the cheerleader.
Chris Rock said, I wanted to divorce her for 20 years. And as soon as we come to an agreement, the prenup expires. And it expired at that time when they split up. So he had to give, how much he gave her, Kev? You remember? He gave his ex-wife?
A lot.
He gave a lot of money. But who he ended up with?
But he still has a lot of... That's neither here nor there. They always talk about you
course
jump,
it is.
the grass is greener, that grass turns brown. You end up in a cycle.
Of course. So the point
So
is,
if he don't last with the
point
new
is-
girl 20 years, it shit didn't matter. So he made a
the
choice and now
point
he's
is,
living.
if you really have free will, you will never go through the trouble and the hassle to find happiness, if that makes sense.
Then there's no free will.
Bingo.
Got it.
I got 3 baby moms living under one government.
And
Wait,
you get
what do you mean one government? What does that mean?
They don't have any other kids with anybody else, so it's one motherfucker.
and
One rule.
you get
3
along with them.
houses, 1 rule. Yeah.
But you make it sound like they sit around just waiting for you to drop off
No,
shit.
that's
No.
not what I mean.
First of
That's
all,
not
you
what I
better
mean.
believe. I'm gonna explain something. You
That's
better
not what I
believe.
mean. I mean a government, like they.
Your last name?
What it has to do with the kids, they come to me with, not another guy, because they got the kids and all that. It's one government.
They don't go to another guy because maybe they're not remarried or they're not
No,
married.
no.
Okay?
Even
So
if
don't get
they're
it twisted, homeboy.
No,
because
listen. No.
you are that
No.
nigga.
Wait, they don't got no dudes in their life?
No,
What?
that's not what I'm saying.
You don't got no problems like that?
Can I speak? I thought
Yes,
I
go
was
ahead.
giving people these problems.
I know.
So what I mean by one government is things change when your baby moms have other kids with other people. Now there's another government. There's another Trump in the fucking White House.
Ruler.
That's different.
That's what I mean. I'm saying kid-wise on the one government.
You don't got to worry about some other
3
dude.
kids
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
3 different houses, but they have the one father. It's under one doctrine.
I mean, you get to do the Martin and Will
That's what I mean.
Smith. Who's
I'm not
this
saying
nigga
I
coming to
run
see my
shit
kid?
in their
Yeah,
household.
yeah.
No. I'm talking about the government with the kids. Like, there's only one government with the kids right now. Hopefully, knock on wood.
That's good.
I mean,
Let's move it
they don't
along.
have to share government. That's
This
what I
is-
meant about that.
This is brought up. This has been a very live conversation. I like it. I
Guy
like it.
down there.
You're fucking
But-
emotional. You're talking about things to get people emotional. Free will.
That's
Everybody
right.
knows
That's
bullshit.
right. Because that's what this is
Be
about. Live.
free-spirited.
But yo, let me ask you something.
What?
What choice do you make when you choose a cologne?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is-
All this shit got to
Now wait. I mean, I've gone with Andy to supermarket to like Macy's,
Yeah, smell
and he'll
it
go to the
before you go.
counter.
No.
He'll go to
No,
the counter, and he
We did
knows.
not go to Macy's. We went to Neiman Marcus.
Neiman Marcus. Look. He
Don't
don't
get
even
it
want to say
twisted.
fuck Macy's. That's low quality. That's like going to Old Navy. Sorry. But yeah, you walk in, you know what you're asking for, a particular thing. As soon as you ask for it, they all like, oh shit, this nigga know? He might buy this expensive shit. Nah, he wants the little tester, blah, blah, blah. But you know your shit. I mean, I came up, it was from the club days. I had my go-to, Fahrenheit, Cool Water. Now I got Gucci and a couple of other things. But that's all I need. I don't overdo it. I was having a conversation earlier about how people wear cologne. You either put it on just enough so you can smell good at a place, or you got those people who walk around and it's like it's a second person because you can smell it from 4 feet away.
Well, it depends on the fragrance that they're wearing. And one of my favorite commercials is a Bud Light commercial back in the days, I think the early 2000s. And basically, if you go on YouTube and you put in Bud Light, Mr. Too Much Cologne Man. And I don't know if you remember that. It goes, here's to you, Mr. Too Much Cologne Man wearer. You remember that, Miguel? Here a splash, there a splash, everywhere splish splash.
I remember that.
You remember
Bingo.
that?
Yes.
Oh man, I should. But anyway, look, I have a personal love for fragrance because fragrance takes me back. Look, I'm gonna give you two stories. Well, I guess two stories, and one has to deal with this guy over here, Miguel.
His first go-to?
No, I'll talk about that in a little while. All right. When I was in high school, I had a ceramic class, and I sat down next to this girl. Her name is Liza. Damn, Liza something. She was beautiful.
No name. Liza.
Liza.
What do you mean, no names? If she
why you gave her last name? We don't know her. From a hole in the wall.
It doesn't matter. But anyway, she was beautiful, and I used to sit next to her, and the whole year went by, and at the end of the year, she's graduating. She's a senior. I'm in 11th grade. I'm a junior, and the last day of school, she gives me a giant hug and tells me, "Oh my God, no, I'm lying. The last day of school is the last class," and she looks at me and she goes, "What are you wearing? Because you drive me crazy every time you wear that." And it was Cool Water. Woo. Now I put on cologne. Davidoff, that's right. Davidoff. I messed up one time because I took that from my father. I took Cool Water from Pops. So one day I tried to use Dracor Nor. You remember Dracor?
Yeah.
Man, I doused myself in that shit. And I went to school and they made fun of me. And you think I wore that cologne again? Hell no, I didn't wear it again.
I'm gonna get you that for Christmas.
So ever since then, I've always been into colognes. I've been into fragrances. And like everything in life, there's levels to shit. So you go from your Liz Claiborne or your Armani Code or your Paco Rabanne, the shit that Miguel used to wear, or the Brut and shit like that, that you really learn once you get into it that there's levels. So, let me see. I've been collecting since, I would say for more than I think close to 10 years. But I only been going hard for the last, I would say 6 or 7, I think. So that's when I really got into it, where I really learned about niche, and you really learn about these different things that go into fragrance. And it's a nostalgic thing. You could smell something and it brings you back. Every time I smell I don't know, like when it's humid and you smell like grass, it reminds me of Puerto Rico. I don't know, because Puerto Rico smells like that. But there's certain things that it reminds me of. So when you love something, you learn about it. And when you speak to other people that don't know about it, they kind of look at you like you're crazy. And when they look at you, it's only because they don't have the same interests as you. That's why when people talk about certain things, I never say a person is crazy, because it doesn't make sense to say that they're crazy just because they're into something. We just don't understand why they're into that. So the reason why I'm into cologne is I actually fell in love with it since high school. So I really have been into cologne since high school.
What's your top 3?
My top 3 colognes, my favorite cologne, there's too many, but it depends. It depends if I'm in the mood. Like if I want to get my pickle wet, I'm going to throw this one on and it's going to happen. But
what's it called?
By Killian Black Phantom. That's my favorite cologne.
Killian Black Phantom.
By Killian, yeah. The owner of Hennessy, the cognac, is his house. It's called By Killian. And it's
10
Black
minutes.
Phantom. Huh?
You got 10 minutes.
10 minutes left. This is crazy. You want to talk about free will, man. Anyway. So my second one is Bleecker Street, and my third is Molecule 02. But anyway, let me
Don't
get into
sound
this.
all off the reservation. So like if you go to a club, they won't have it in the bathroom.
No, you don't want to smell. You don't want to smell like
other niggas.
I had this conversation with you before, I think, right, Kev? Well, I'll give you an example. my peoples in the job, right? One of them was like, yo, what you wear? Invictus. Yo, my man, what you wear? Invictus. And my other man, what you wear? Invictus. Three of them, all three of them in the job wear Invictus. So they go out and they smelling like each other. I never liked that before. So I'm gonna, let me get into this story with Miguel. Because Miguel, you've been quiet. Miguel came home after 20 years. We caught up, whatever the case may be. I remember, Miguel, you sold me the AC, remember? And I said, fuck, I haven't seen Miguel in a very long time. We went to my house. I opened the closet. All the colognes were there. You remember that, right, Miguel? And then Mikey wanted a cologne too. So I brought some cologne so that to see which one he buys, and he bought one. I sold it to him for dirt cheap. Miguel fell in love with this rare cologne that I have. And it's kind of like coincidental, but it's called Invictus Aqua. And it's from 2016. It's from 2016.
Badass.
Right? All right. So
you still rocking?
No, I don't use it. It is a listen, it's a collector's item. And I'm gonna tell you what happened with Miguel, and I got very upset with Miguel. When I gave it to Miguel, I told Miguel, this is one of my prized possessions. This is something that you cannot get anywhere. If you get this, it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. Here, nigga, I miss you. Welcome back here. He rocked the shit. Even what's her name? I'm not gonna say her name from the block. She was like, God damn, that smells good. This and that. Miguel's rocking it. He has it in his pocket. So I'm happy. He's enjoying the cologne. So a couple of days go by, or was it like a couple of weeks or something? Where the fuck is Miguel? Nobody knows where Miguel. That's when he went missing. We call Miguel, nothing. I smell somebody with this shit on. So I'm like, huh? Where's Miguel?
That part.
Oh, you didn't know that part.
No.
So I said, yo, you see Miguel? And you was in that person's car. I'm not going to say who it is. And I was like, yo, does, I'm trying to remember what I told him. But basically, we spoke about the fragrance. And he said, oh, yeah, it's in my car. It's in your car. Excuse me? So my thought was, my prized possession that I gave to my friend that I haven't seen in a very long time, put it in a fucking car? And it's not even in his possession? I said, can you?
You hit mute. You can't hear.
Can you walk in the car, please? I went in the car and I took it. And I told Miguel the reason why I took it. And I put it back in my shelf. Now, they came out with a new version, an Invictus Aqua 2019. And I told myself that I was going to buy it from Miguel when I had the chance, when I find it, so that I could give it to him because he likes that smell.
He's an Indian giver, the moral of the story.
Of course, I'm an
Is there a fragrance for that?
That's right. Because I felt offended because it didn't mean as much to you as it does to me.
I just left it in somebody's car. That's it. I was going to get it right back.
Yes, you did. And you was MIA. And I told you the reason why. So I've been meaning to get you the 2018 or the 2019 version because there's no way in the world I'm going to let that shit go. And I'll apologize to you right now for being an Indian giver. But do I regret taking it back? No, I don't. Because God only knows what would have happened. It could have broke or whatever the case may be in somebody else's possession. So I'm very grateful and thankful that happened. I wish you would have kept it.
Miguel, have you ever bought cologne?
Miguel used to be into colognes.
So I would assume that if the bottle breaks, he buys another one.
But
like he's never bought. I know you said it's hard to find. It became a collector.
Hard to find. You look it up right now, Kev. Look up 2016 Invictus Aqua. You're not gonna find that. And if you do, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg for it.
Invictus Aqua 2016. Yeah, I'm just saying, being a free spirit.
You got me sweating over here. This is bullshit.
Nah, this is live. Your heart is pumping. Your brain is thinking. It's the precocious of emotion.
Yo, there's nothing. I enjoy having a conversation or conversing about fragrances because it's something that I enjoy and that's something that I truly am passionate about. I don't know about passionate, but I enjoy it, right? So when something comes out, I look for the deals. I look for that. Like Kevin, your shit is Arrows, Versace Arrows. When we went to Neiman Marcus, we got the little sample from the lady for Aventus. You said, it's all right. It's whatever. It's okay. You know
I
why?
used it
Because you didn't get a chance to really wear it in front of a crowd.
properly. Yeah.
Exactly. So it doesn't really have meaning to you. Eros does. Because you go to the club with Eros and you dancing with whoever, and you might have got a compliment.
Long time ago. Long time ago.
Now, I'm talking about back in the days.
I'm just doing my Bernie Mac impression.
Exactly. So now it has sentimental meaning.
Boy, am I hungry. Kevin Hart.
So it has sentimental meaning to you. So you're there, and it has meaning to you. It has ownership. So you go, I'm rocking with Eros because I used to score big with Eros, so I'm good to go. So it has a meaning to you. Just like Miguel, I think, what was your shit, Miguel, that you used to wear?
I used to rock CK1.
Yeah, the CK1.
I used to give it out to people.
Yeah.
I remember when Gat came out with their shit, Heaven, Grass,
Let's
Earth.
put it this way.
That was good shit.
There is a movie called Descent of Heaven, and it has to deal with something called oud. And oud comes from a tree. When a tree is damaged, it releases a sap to heal itself. When that sap dries, that tree is worth a lot of money. There's a tree in a monastery, like in a monastery, like I don't know exactly where, what country, but it's a monk monastery. And these big time fragrance people or investors, they went over there, offered the monastery $300 million for the tree. And they turned it down. And look at your face, Kev. Look at your face. And
that tree
the most expensive scent or fragrance, or you could say, what is the word that they use?
Aroma?
Ingredient. The most expensive ingredient that they use in fragrance is called ambergris. And ambergris is just whale vomit that floats up to and Aventus has ambergris in it. That's why it's so expensive. When whales vomit, it floats up to the top of the ocean, to the surface, and people fish that. You will say like maybe 3 pounds of ambergris. That's like $100 and something thousand. Just 3 pounds of that.
I'm gonna look up that job description on LinkedIn.
Lipstick off of whales.
Huh?
Oh,
Lipstick,
that's a blubber, all that stuff.
Shit.
So look, you have that oud that comes from the tree. That's very expensive. It's a Middle Eastern thing. A lot of sheiks and royal people use that. What they do is they burn it and they drape their clothes in it. And when they walk around, smoke is one of the most powerful smells. You can smell smoke miles away. So what they do is they burn the oud and they drape their clothes in it, and their clothes smell like that for a very long time. So that's why they walk around and you smell them while they down the block. So when you have fragrances with oud in them, sometimes they're real powerful. And I have some fragrances with oud in it.
And it's tree barky smelling.
Yes, and it's like tree bark that you smell in wood.
It's very nature.
So it's oud, ambergris, and rose. If you have a fragrance with rose in it, real rose, that's very expensive. Very expensive. That's why they come out with the synthetic forms of these. That's
what I wanted to bring up. I mean, we got less than a minute, but yeah, I talked about Scentbird. And it was funny because I told you the story that I knew the CEO from Baruch and whatnot. So you have them send you stuff every month?
Yeah, every month I get three.
Try something new?
2 for me and 1 for my wife.
Right. Next month, 1 for you, 1 for him, 1 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll switch it up. I'm getting Miguel the full bottle, so I gotta get him the Invictus Aqua. So I gotta look.
I need the Avanti.
The Aventus.
Aventus. Sorry, I keep saying it wrong. But anyway, yo, this was live, baby. This is good.
Yeah, Andy took over my.
I'm sorry, Miguel. I'm sorry, but he's talking about free will and colognes and shit like. That's like talking about M16s and shooting missiles.
Now you see why I get excited about nearly everything.
Yeah, of course.